Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a corporate report so exciting it's like watching paint dry, if that paint was somehow related to government contracts and shareholder votes. But fear not, we will extract the interesting bits. Before we start, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where you can discuss these filings with other investors. We're going to dissect VSE Corporation's latest filing, a Form 8K. This isn't their usual quarterly or annual report, it's a current report, meaning it's filed to announce major events that shareholders should know about right away. In this case, it's all about the results of their annual shareholder meeting and a dividend announcement. So the main event happened on May 8, 2025. This report details what went down at VSE Corporation's annual meeting. Think of it as the corporate version of a town hall meeting, but instead of discussing potholes, they're voting on directors and company plans. First up, let's talk about attendance. There were about 20.7 million shares eligible to vote and over 19.3 million were represented either in person or by proxy. That's a solid 93.69% turnout, showing shareholders are paying attention. The first big item was electing directors. These are the people who sit on the board and guide the company's strategy. 8 directors were up for election, each for a 1-year term. Let's look at how the voting went for Anita Brett. She received about 18 million votes for, with about 750,000 votes withheld. In these cases, withheld is basically a vote against, as it indicates shareholders weren't fully in support. But overall, she, like all the other nominees, was elected. So all 8 nominees were elected. This means the company's chosen candidates have the support to lead VSE for the next year. Now, that might sound boring, but it is important because these are the people steering the ship. Next, shareholders voted on whether to increase the number of authorized shares of common stock. The company wanted to bump up the number of shares they could issue from 23 million to 44 million. This is like expanding the number of slices in a pizza. It doesn't change the size of the pizza, but it does allow them to issue more slices. The vote passed with over 19 million votes in favor and around 160,000 against. Why do companies do this? Well, it gives them flexibility. They can use these new shares for things like raising money, making acquisitions, or compensating employees. Think of it as having extra ammunition in their financial arsenal. The third proposal was about the company's 2006 restricted stock plan, which helps them attract and retain employees. VSE wanted to increase the number of shares available under this plan by 800,000. This is essentially giving themselves more stock options to offer employees. Again, the vote passed with a large majority, around 18.7 million, approving. These kinds of plans are quite standard, so it is expected that most votes pass. Then there was a vote to ratify or approve Grant Thornton as the company's independent auditor for this year. Almost everyone voted in favour with about 19.3 million votes, with very few against. Think of it as shareholders saying, yes, we trust these guys to check the books. Finally, shareholders had a non-binding advisory vote on executive compensation. It is non-binding, meaning the company doesn't have to listen to the results, but it's a way for shareholders to voice their opinion on how much the top executives are getting paid. This one was a bit closer. While the proposal passed, there were almost 8 million votes against. This indicates that a significant portion of shareholders weren't entirely happy with the executive pay packages. It's a signal the board should pay attention to. Switching gears, there's another important announcement in this report. VSE Corporation's board declared a quarterly cash dividend. They're paying out 10 cents per share. This is set to be paid out in July to shareholders who are on record as owning the stock around the middle of July. Dividends are a way for companies to share their profits with investors, and it can be a sign of financial health. You can find the full announcement in the Exhibit 99.1. So, what does all of this mean for VSE Corporation? Well, the shareholder meeting went smoothly, with all proposals passing. This gives the company the green light to move forward with its plans. The dividend announcement is also a positive sign for investors. Cite, however, the significant number of votes against executive compensation is something to keep an eye on. If shareholder dissatisfaction continues to grow, it could lead to problems down the road. Overall, VSE Corporation seems to be in a stable position. The company has the support of its shareholders to execute its strategy. While there are some areas of concern, the company appears to be well managed and financially sound. A potential risk to consider is the general market and the risk that any of the top shareholders will decide to sell off their holdings. Alright, that's our breakdown of VSE Corporation's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.